Chapter 27 Climb. Elle stood staring at Anthea with her mouth agape. They were so used to being able to hold Anthea in their hand, they couldn't believe she was taller than them.
Well, 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 the tables have turned,
Anthea said, standing up straight and tall next to Elle. She patted them on the head and laughed.
Come on, let's get you home,
she said, grabbing Elle's hand and heading off to an anthill. They waved goodbye to Aunt Witch once more and slipped between a crack in the door leading outside. Everything looked so different as an ant-sized human. It was as if they were on another planet entirely. Elle couldn't stop staring at everything and all of the small details they couldn't see before. Blades of grass, specks of dirt, the textures in the wall of the house. Everything looked so much different when they could see it up close. Anthea was practically dragging Elle behind as they stared at everything around them in awe. They passed many ants on their trek across the yard as they headed towards the anthill they needed to enter. Each ant stared at Elle in complete disbelief. The possibility of these ants seeing a human was almost none at all, and on top of that, the human was smaller than they were. Anthea was used to getting attention from the other ants because she was always in the spotlight from being Aunt Witch's familiar and #1 assistant. It wasn't unusual for her to have a lot of eyes on her, even if they were filled with jealousy and hatred. Now that she had Elle at her side, she was feeling the pressure once again. It was like being a new kid in class. As they walked through the grass, they could hear the hidden ants whispering, but it wasn't anything Elle could understand. It must have been an ant language that only Anthea could translate. Elle noticed her grip on their hand tighten as she began to walk faster, making it hard for Elle to keep up. They looked at her and saw that she was frowning. She didn't look happy at all. They were hot on the trail towards a distant anthill when another ant walked out from the grass in front of them, blocking their way. It was an older ant, or at least what Elle thought an older ant would look like. Anthea said something to the older ant, but Elle couldn't understand her because she was speaking Antonese. Whatever they were saying, it didn't sound good. Anthea had let go of Elle's hand and was waving her arms around all over the place while talking louder, taking a step towards the other ant. Elle was starting to feel worried and a little scared, but they trusted Anthea to take care of the situation, as she had so many other times before. The older ant lifted up their cane and brought it down with such force it shook the dirt around them. Things were getting heated as Anthea stared at the old man in silence. Then, she suddenly bent down and motioned for Elle to climb up on her back, running past the old man towards the anthill. Elle looked back at the old ant and saw a few others gather around their side as they stood with their arms crossed, shaking their head at them and frowning. As they approached their destination, Elle felt moisture on their cheeks, and when they looked at Anthea, they noticed she was crying. They approached the hill, and Anthea bent down to let Elle off her back and onto the ground once again. She wiped her eyes and turned to Elle, getting down on her knees.
I was hoping I wouldn't have to tell you, but a lot of ants, especially the old ones, don't like humans. They tried to stop me from bringing you in, but we'll get through this,
she said, patting Elle on the head.
It doesn't help that they don't agree with how I became Aunt Witch's familiar, but that's a problem they have with me, not you.
Anthea forced a smile at Elle and stood back up.
Alright, we're going to get you home no matter what.
She grabbed Elle's hand and they walked up the anthill and headed inside.